Very good evening to all. Uh, as part of the Know Your IP series being organized by uh, the DPIIT IPR-Chair, Osmania University, today we are going to have the sixth lecture on the topic Decoding Patents and Designs for Academia and Researchers by Mr. Subhajit Saha, who is currently the head Legal and Intellectual Property Rights, Resolute Group, and Resolute for IP. Before I request Mr. Subhajit Saha, I would like to give a very brief introduction of the eminent speaker and who has a blend of both the theory as well as practice. And the brief introduction of the resource person is as follows. He is currently working with the Resolute Group as the head of the legal and intellectual property rights. And prior to that, he was the director and head of Confederation of Indian Industry at Hyderabad. And after serving for more than 17 years, uh, Mr. Subhajit Saha has joined the corporate world as the head legal and IPR. And he has a lot of experience in the field of intellectual property rights, especially in the areas of protection and prosecution of all forms of intellectual property rights, including the patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, geographical indications of goods, so on and so forth. And he is also well versed with the intellectual property management in the industry and academia. And Mr. Saha has the unique experience of having undergone various training programs on IPR with the Government of India, and he was a part of many international and national conferences on IPR. And he had the opportunity to visit overseas for IPR and technology services in the year 2007 and 2009 also. Presently, he is also involved in building IP management portfolios for medium, small, and micro enterprises, and also working on the protection of several handicrafts and textile products for GI registration from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu in India. As a member of the Non-Agricultural Products Committee of the Organization for International Geographical Indications Network, Origin, he was invited to Bordeaux in 2013 to deliver a lecture on Indian GIs. He has attended several international training programs like the Japanese Patent Office training on IP management in July 2014 at Tokyo, and International Visitors Leadership Program on IPR to the US, supported by the US Federal Department in the year 2015. With more than 17 years of experience in IPR facilitation, Mr. Saha is also a visiting faculty to the Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Intellectual Property Management, Government of India, then IIS WBM Kolkata, University of Hyderabad, Roy Business School, then NIMSME Hyderabad, and several forums on IPR. He is a postgraduate in microbiology with PG Diploma in Patent Laws from Nalsar, and he has completed his PG Diploma in Planning and Project Management from University of Hyderabad. He is also a registered patent and trademark agent with the Indian Patent Office. And to top it all, in fact, we take pride in informing all of you that he is a holder of master's degree in law with specialization in intellectual property rights from Department of Law, Osmania University. So I think his brief introduction speaks volumes about the commitment of Mr. Saha to the protection, management, and enforcement of intellectual property rights at various levels. And I don't want to stand between you and Mr. Subhajit Saha now. I invite Mr. Subhajit to deliver his lecture on decoding patents and designs for academia and researchers, which will be followed by question answer session. Now over to you, sir. Welcome to Osmania University once again.
Thank you so much, Dr. GBDT sir. I think it's a pleasure and honor to be here today. So basically today's topic, I think it's a great evening. Probably we all are again back to the virtual world. I think today we have graduated from awareness level to the next one is on strategizing IP for academics or business excellence. Because at the end of the day, even if your management, because my shift from industry association to an industry is that everybody expects you to deliver on day one, if not from experienced set of people is always expected. You can't have a Virat Kohli going there and taking 5-6 overs to start the innings. So same thing happens even in academia and in today's competitive world, that the pressure is so high to deliver. Earlier it was for paper publications, today it is for patents, and there's after this rankings, a lot of colleges are branding themselves are the highest patent filers, highest trademark filers and all that. So but the crux of the thing is that what is the essence or the value of these IP, whether they are good patents, strong patents to give licensing fees or some kind of royalties to the university. Why do we need IP as such? Because it is generally to solve a problem in the society, either through a technology or a process or a product or a new brand which everybody will kind of envision or look into. So that's the essence. But now again in the filing journey, I think we all are focusing on how and when to file rather than what next after your IP. Because I always say that intellectual property right management is not only about getting aware and filing, it's about the entire end-to-end process of managing IP from idea to product to manage to even enforcement per se. Because a lot of people might not have the teeth and nail to enforce IP. Then in such case, do you want to file IP and then have the money or the time or the resources to enforce IP? It's better than use it as a defensive rather than going offensive and filing, taking actions. So there are a lot of strategies which I think is important to know rather than the mundane patent, trademark, copyright, design, which I think will eventually every book or every IP expert will talk about, and you will learn it in a very short time. But what are the strategies which are used in the field when you go into filing is very, very important. Just like your law, law works in very in theory, but when it comes to action, I think there are a lot of bottlenecks, hurdles which we all come across. Whether it is filing a suit or taking it forward or getting a date, presenting your evidence, cross witness, cross examination, and all that. Everything has a step and hurdle in the journey. So today I will take you to a small presentation on patents and designs. So basically it will be an introduction on IP and why do we need, as I said, and why we need to learn IP and categories which is everybody's aware, and then about patents and designs. So today, if you look at the entire world, I think around 90 to 94%, as per the global report, is now based on intangible assets, which is mainly contains knowledge, information, innovativeness, and inventiveness. So nobody talks about when your company is having the physical assets, the buildings, the land, the labor, the capital. So they are understood that there's a part of investment. But when an FDI comes in, or when a technology transfer happens, or when a JV takes place, so it's about technology. So right now I'll just give you because I'm working in a company which is making one of the, which makes LED TVs, and we are supplying to 14 OEMs. So right now we don't have a technology in the country which we are trying to get it from China. It's a robotic arm for an open cell technology for fixing the LED screen on the TV, which is the very, very important last procedure, which is still done manually. And there's no technology in India till date. The investment is 15,000 crores if somebody wants to invest on that technology. So, but the technology is existing in China, in Taiwan, in Korea, and through an FDI route, we're trying to get that. And as you know that there is a lot of issues going on after the border, fights and things. The FDIs from China or neighboring countries where India is sharing border, the Prime Minister himself with the committee is looking into such investments. And it's not that easy, but now there is a relaxation on case-to-case basis with some 10% stake can be allowed if the technology is new and can get a lot of employment and a lot of revenue generation for the country, and it is made in India. So that is what today people are talking about. How do you get that technology in or take the technology out, rather than buying a land or gone are the days when I want to, we are trying to sell a shed and a land in GD Metla. So there is no buyers, though the land is appreciating. Why? Because there's nothing except the land there. So if I would say that, yes, there is a company there which is actually producing N95 masks, which are the need of this hour, and that also indigenous ones, not the foreign ones, or with some turmeric coated, or an antibacterial coat, which a company is making. I think it will be a hot cake for people to take the technology, rather than normal land, labor, capital, which is anyways there, or 20% or 10% of your investment. So that is the reason IP is so important, because it gives you a understanding of what exactly your company has to offer as a player in the ecosystem, and what new technologies you bring to the table. So it's not only always about filing, or I would always say that there's a company, like all must be aware, Saint-Gobain, which is one of the finest glass companies in the world, from France. So, they saved quite a lot of money by just using expired patents in their shop floor from the technology which they had hunted from the expired patents in the glass process industry. So I would request, because you as academicians or teachers or faculties might be advising a lot of MSMEs, industry students, or might be going into a field of, working tomorrow. So it's even the expired patents are a huge ocean of knowledge, which actually will help you to understand what is the trends which were there. It can trigger your mindset also to understand and do a next level research from there. Just like how your papers give you a direction to carry forward your PhD or a research work for a problem. So that's what is very essential to look at. That's the strategy is very important in today's world. That's what I always now advocate, because gone are the days. I think we have graduated learning intellectual property rights from 2000, and it's been 20 years now. I think it's high time we look at what value can IP create, whether my trademark or designs or patents or copyrights can be sold to somebody. Even if I sell to the first customer who is taking my book as a publication, that will be a win-win battle for me. I might not be a J.K. Rowling on the first day, or a first 10 sets of books, or or a Chetan Bhagat, but definitely I can be a myself who is starting to doing a lot of innovative work, and the world is appreciating, and I'm getting paid for it. So that's how you need to look at. So if you see this slide on the Fortune 500 companies, if you see here, only these 52 companies have been in the Fortune 500 since 1955. So out of the 500 companies, these 52 companies are still existing. And if you look at the others, the balance 300 and 448 companies have been now replaced with all unicorns, with next gen technology companies like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, a lot of companies coming in, metaverse, which is now there. So what this tells us that today you have to be very, very agile, adaptive, and savvy to learn. That's even our, I think that's the that's the tagline which our company uses: agile, adaptive, and savvy. So as Radiant, that's when you should actually look at how you can be the first mover in the market. And I always also say an interesting article which I think was there, that today people are following a lot of trends, in their business. Like you have a Zomato, you have a what is this, a Swiggy. Then now you have Licious. Now then there's Fipola, there is Fresh Cut, there is Tender Cut. There is so many apps coming in. But I wonder, what is the sustainability model of these companies after a time of 4 to 5 years? Because so most of them might be evaluated at a high cost and become unicorn, but others might not, get the same amount of ROI which they have started, and they might close, or they might be bought out, or whatever it is. So I would suggest that if you're looking at a business idea or a thing, don't follow the trends. Look at the problems which were there, and tap those problems, and then come out with the solution to have the first mover advantage, first or second, and then do your business and come out of that, make money, and then come out of it. So that's very essential. So now what people need in today's world? So probably an app for the booster dose, which I think, yes, but then again, there are a lot of regulatory issues, because even 60 plus people are not able to get it. There are some issues. So health is a big plus point. If you want to do something on health tech, education, edutech, I was told that whatever is the technology, so many learning apps coming in this pandemic, making a huge money, whether it is Extra Marks or Byju's, or so many apps coming in. As a parent, you must be getting a lot of calls as a to use these apps, upgrade. Knowledge is free up there, and so many things happening. But at the end of the day, what exactly gives the value? But I was told that these apps are so that if we are only catering to only 1 crore of our students through these virtual learning platforms, whereas in our country there is more than 35 crores of students in the entire 135 crores of population. So still there is a huge potential to develop new technologies and new apps and designs on education, which will be picked up by various things. But how do you give it? How it is tailor made? How it is giving that example? So that's the very essential thing. So if you look at all these apps, they are only one-sided. Be it Byju's or be it all these apps which are there in the market, it doesn't assess the students' potential on how they are learning, what they are learning, how is the phase-wise. Every student is different. Some might be good in maths, some might be good in physics, some might be good in English. But exactly, so now there's a work being done. There's a Red Hat app in the US. I was recently talking to their CEO, and he was telling that yes, now they have designed a AI and a model where they will actually understand each. Suppose there are some 1 million or around 10,000 users, that will be tracking through the session and the tests and the amount of time they spend. How is the learning agility? What is the response? How is the time frame coming in? So that's how you should frame your things to go into the market and create an advantage. That is what I was trying to tell. Otherwise, it's very essential that in today's world nobody has time. And everybody needs quick in a platter, be it a quotation or it is a work or be it templates or whatever it is. A law graduate or a law practitioner will look at templates which are existing. Nobody will deviate, or even your corporate will not allow you to deviate because there are such set standards. So how do you break that barrier and go out and innovate? That's also a big question, because in the setup of academia, we are working with a lot of colleges. We see that yes, there is a hurdle, because by the time an idea comes, it's picked up, it's discussed, it's done a patentability search, and it comes to a position, 6 months is lost. And then by the time the technology has become obsolete, or might be somebody else has already picked up and also filed a patent or some kind of an IP. So time also is very essence when you are talking about IP, apart from what exactly you want to strategize. So this is what companies have in common. I was trying to say all the Group A companies, were there in the Fortune 500 in 1955. Now they don't find any place. Steel, radio, sugar refining, and all that. Then the Group B were there in Fortune 500 in both 1955 and 2019, because you can't be out with a Boeing, because Boeing and Airbus are the two largest aircraft manufacturers in commercial airlines. And then definitely it will not go out. And then you have Whirlpool, Kellogg's, Procter Gamble. So Kellogg, there's a funny WhatsApp video. I'm sure that everybody must have gone through that. Kellogg was pushing for cereals and breakfast and now selling upma. So they have changed their strategy, because you find this upma, instant upma, because the Indian market is actually, looking at eating healthy food. But any processed food or that is, you all know that it's not healthy. Which is cooked in 2 minutes from a packet which is preserved, is not that. But in today's generation or whatever, we can't do it. So that's how the strategy of the company has changed. Kellogg is also found in cornflakes as well as in upma, which is there. So you have to be adaptive to changes, be it in in the world of intellectual property rights. It's very essential that not only R&D professionals or teachers or academias will contribute. In the real field, it is your supplier, it's your vendor, it's your customers, it's your marketing executives who will give you the inputs actually, whether your brand has been copied, whether your trademark has been violated, whether your technology is misused. So all these inputs will help you to actually, strategize your way, because and then have your company policy that you cover them also. When you're drafting an IP policy, I'll also cover my customers, vendors, suppliers, and then intermediate suppliers also, because somehow there'll be an overlap of IP or ideas. There are a lot of, for technical reasons or whatever I can't say, there are a lot of issues in our own companies also. When I was in CII, I was looking at from a bird's eye view the entire industry sector, thinking everything is very nice, very rosy, things are good. But when you come and work with a company, understand the processes and systems, you will find a lot of issues on the ground, and tackling them. And each day is a challenge, because you deal with so many people, projects, and ideas. So it's a different ball game altogether. So and then if you see the Group C, Amazon, Facebook, eBay, these are some of the companies, as you know, have come in just existing from the last 20-25 years and made a big revenue. And Apple's worth is $3 trillion. It's more than the economy of our country. Probably $3 trillion of the company's worth today. So that's how they've become big in today's world. So if you look at the value of intangible assets totally across the globe, it says about $25 trillion is the value of intangible assets through these companies which are holding Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, whereas the tangible assets is only $4 trillion. So it's very essential to take a cue, like what exactly your values are, and how you build a portfolio around it. So this was a slide which was taken from Ocean Tomo, which is very recent interim study done on 7th of Jan 2020, which says that this is the value of intangible assets, and it's going to rise altogether. Gone are the days when people will invest on a lot of things like so basic requirements. Even today, I remember when I was in CII, our president, Mr. Uday Kotak, the former president of CII, used to mentioned a very good term which I like, sentence called that geography is the new history. Geography is the new history now, because you don't have to be in any geographical terrain to deliver something, whether it's a goods or services or any kind of things, because after the pandemic, geography has become history. So you don't need to be on the plant or in the plant or in your office to deliver things. Of course, yes, for shop floor people who are actually producing, manufacturing, for them it's different. But people who are looking into other aspects, whether it is preventive maintenance, or is it kind of a generating of ideas or proposals, I think anything can happen from any corner. So that's how things are evolving. And the famous Bill Gates, we all know, had quoted that IP is no longer simply the legal department's problem. CEOs also must be able to formulate strategies that capitalize on, maximize the value of their company's IP assets to drive growth, innovation, and cooperative relationships with other companies. So that says us all what exactly such a big man meant, and how he has transformed the entire thinking process, and that how the vision of Microsoft or new companies started. If you look at this beautiful Taj Mahal, everybody is aware that this was built by Shah Jahan way back in 1400 century, 14th century, and for centuries people have tried to safeguard the inventions. I think it started in Egypt or in Venice with those windmills, where the king used to give them patents, letter of patents. And then even in Taj Mahal, I think they didn't want a masterpiece like this to be built. So there's a legend which goes, or a story, that he chopped off all the hands of the construction workers, so that no Taj Mahal is again made in this world. But some people say that it's not like that, because they've been working for so long, their hands were numb. So there's a lot of stories which goes in. But the idea is that still people used to appreciate beauty, appreciate aesthetics, appreciate innovations in the past, and also have done proper safeguarding, to protect their interests so that it's not copied. So why not today, when we are having so many ideas by the minute, ideas by the moment, ideas by everybody, even a kid or anybody can come in with an idea, and how do you make it work is very important. Because when I was reading microbiology, there was a very famous book called Pelzar, which is called the Bible of Microbiology. So there was a big sentence which I had underlined, and I always quote this wherever I go, that it's not in science, the credit does not go to the person who has first developed the idea, but the credit goes to the person who has developed the idea into action and made that idea into a product or a process. So that in science, the credit goes to that person rather than only to the person who has developed the idea. So same thing happens in IPR also. There are a lot of people who have ideas of sketch, flow diagrams, but they can't convert it into a tangible form, do not get a protection of its rights, do not use it in the society to serve. That's where the edge, or you actually want to lead from others or have a cue taking forward. So that's very essential. How do you move forward? So IP is nothing but creation of mind. It covers a vast range of activities. I think you all are aware. It can be anything on art, literature, music, anything. On any kind of IP work. And now this famous song is there from the movie called Pushpa of Srivalli song. Everybody with that same copying Allu Arjun. So, basically on that step where his chappal also goes out, and everybody's trying to do it on the Insta or on the Facebook or the Reels. So everybody is it copying Allu Arjun? I don't think so. It's copying. Yes, you are expressing it. The idea is being copied, but expressed in a different form. Okay, so everybody has their own copyright, which is the performer's rights, and they have that thing to do it. But of course, yeah, if you try to make it as a commercial thing and teach it as a dance step in schools, popularize it and follow it in other song, try to get money out of it, then I think there might be a violation of, there's something called as now the personality rights also. A person's personality rights are very important, PPRs, which has come out in the new version. And with NFTs, I think even there was a very good article, the non-fungible tokens, which are now the new way of protecting your pictures in a digital platform, and you trade that against some kind of souvenirs or gifts to others, and they are a violation of copyrights or no. That's a big debate which is ongoing, because these are your own collection which you are trading somebody or giving it at a money cost. So if somebody is using it for another purpose, definitely, because this has been used, or what is the, so NFTs are some new area which I think the world is looking at for copyrights, and then about AIs for who owns the patents in a AI driven or a machine learning technology. And then it was told in a recent case that yes, you need a human intervention unless and until. So anybody who is actually making, there was a robot who actually built a technology and was claimed, but the South African court and the US court had actually denied. Sorry, South African court had given, I think it is called some Jabos or some Dabos, yeah, Dabus. The robot name was called Dabus, who was actually who made this technology. But the US court had denied, saying that robots cannot be named in the patent because you need a natural living person as per the act and the statute. So such things will evolve. And then idea, a thought, a plan, or a suggestion, or a problem, as you all know, is the first step. And why do we need IP as academia? Why do you need? Because you want to prove people that you are able to produce some research which is worth in the society, which is giving some result in some form, and which will be taken up by an industry or by customers or by people who are in the business. I think that's why an academia files IP, not for rankings. That should be, rankings are anyways a byproduct, I would say, that your performance should be there. And also you should look at designs. I was told that there's a college here in Hyderabad which we are working out. They are making ceramic tiles and also certificate designs, and the certificates are picked up by a publication house because they like the design of the certificate. Just a simple certificate from the art department on the edges, and the new concepts of using nanotechnology, like new inventions, and then making it into a design, or just a certificate design which is protected under the design, is been licensed to a publication house to give certificates printing for XYZ companies because they like that certificate design and they want to give it. So that's how you strike a deal about how do you license or commercialize your IP. It can be as simple as a certificate design, and with rapid changes in technology and high investments in research and development and highly skilled human resources, I think IP will be the cutting edge for people. It will be a make or break game, because I was told if you look at today's world, what people see, even everybody has the mindset to go for an Apple or a OnePlus or any kind of a phone. Why do you go for such phones when there's a iPhone 13 launched or 14 in this year? People just queue up and the queue up for that in the stores to get the phone and understand, because it's the features, it's the technology, it's the design, it's the look that people are paying in. So today's world does not care for the price. Earlier our parents were looking at what is cheap. Then our generation is looking at quality and then affordability, and but tomorrow's generation, next gen, will look at whatever is the price. If they like the design and the technology, they'll go for it. Whether it is a person who is getting his first paycheck or people who has retired and getting his pension, if he likes a product and he wants to pay for it because it has a value, I think people will go for it. Whether it is there's a lot of factors again, but yes. So that's how things are changing, and IP gives you an ROI, because what I'm told is that if you look at the world stats of commercialization or IP, only around 5% of your IP is commercialized, of your patents globally. 3 to 4, and now it's 5. Some books give you 5%. So the balance 95% patents are never used in the market, never converted into a product process, not even giving a revenue to the company, but still they are maintained as a portfolio. Still they are actually maintained, because the balance 5% gives you 100x of revenue to work on your balance 95 and new products. So it's like this, like people are now investing, launching companies just for investing in startups. So I know a lot of companies who are only have formed companies to invest in startups. and out of 10, 9 of them have failed. His money is gone. He's put around say 30 crores of money, and out of that 25 or 22 crores have been lost by putting revenue in these startups, thinking that but that one startup which clicked, it has given him 100 times of his revenue and has safeguarded him. So you should never fall short of thinking what can be, what will work and what can work in today's thing, whether it is a startup. And I just give you an example. So IP also, so if my patents fail, or if my designs fail, if my brands do not create that connect, it doesn't mean that I should stop ideating. Of course, it's easier said for people who are having that money, resources to generate IP, but for a startup or for an MSME where survival is the issue, you have so many issues: labor issues, you have industrial disputes, you have taxation, you have pollution control board back of you, you have your factory license, you have inspectors coming in. And what are you talking about IP when we are boggled with all these working capital, how to run our payrolls and all that? So that's the reason. But somehow there has to be that some amount of thought process going in, that yes, one product or one process or one idea can transform my MSME or my thing, and I should follow that and do it and keep a budget for it. I know it might be a cost effect, it might be so allocate budgets. I would say, when this is a strategy, when you're trying to do any project, trying to do anything, allocate a budget, certain budget, 10 to 20% of your budget, 20% of your budget for IP, patents, trademarks, designs, so that tomorrow if something comes out which is feasible or viable, which you think, then you have that budget kept in your funding from your and then you can file something if something worth or something is there. So have that. If it is not coming out also, you will at least learn to understand. You can buy a patent database, paid one, or you can actually buy some IP journals to understand, then look at what can be done, or look at how to do an FTO done. Because for for academia, you don't need an FTO, but definitely enough freedom to operate. But so such things can be there. So now if you look at the categories, property is just to give you the right which gives you. In the idea, expression converts into a copyright. Idea, innovation, invention is a patent. Idea, the quality, identity is a trademark. Identity because it links to the producers. Appearance and design. So our main topic is the orange and the brown one today. That's the patent and design. And idea, keep confidential, as no disclosures is trade secrets also. This is a big chunk of business which happens around this. Billions of business. Coca-Cola, KFC. A lot of people today, if I want to launch my product in 500 locations in India, so I should have a list of dealers who will do it for me, and that's my trade secret. And the same company or the other company, rival, who doesn't have that ambit to understand, will try to figure into my company to see my trade secrets. Try to do. There are a lot of people who are violating trade secrets today. It's a big subject matter for industry today, because in a lot of expertise is there to build a person, to build a candidature. You get somebody in manufacturing lines especially. So what happens is, why there is a lot of violation of trade secrets in big companies. Trade secrets violation is very rare, but trade secrets violation happens in MSMEs. Why? Because you as the resources is allowed to do multifunctional work. A person who is into marketing, he does supply chain, he does production, he does sales, he's into invoice raising, quotation. So he's doing a lot of tasks. So over the years, he understands the system of that company, and he's like one of the whole and soul. So he knows what is the supply, what cost we are buying the raw material, what is our value addition, what we are doing, the conversion price. I can set up my own company. So that's the reason there's a lot of cases on contracts, on confidentialities in medium, micro, even certain large extent. But companies like ITC, Coca-Cola, and then Tata, Mahindra, do you ever see a trade secret violation happening? Rarely, because they don't just share anything which is not to be shared. And systems and processes are so good that a person who is working in R&D will not go into the marketing department to see what is going on there unless and until there is a routine exchange of ideas or a learning thing. So that's how it's very essential. Even in academia also, professors that you are doing your work, you might go into another lab, you might actually look into the process and protocols. So you have certain trade secrets which are maintained in a particular lab and a particular set of students and researchers. So when I was doing my research work in University of Hyderabad, I had a very good lecture saying before joining that knowledge should be shared, knowledge is free, everybody should come and share your ideas, concepts and all. The moment I went into the lab the next day, my guide was saying that nothing to be shared. so nothing. Our protocols, our books and things, please do not take it out of the laboratory. Keep it to yourself or in your desk and under lock and key. So that was the contradictory thing which we learned, that you talk something in the open and then every lab, even the lab will have its own processes to protect my way of working or my preparation of inoculation or a medium or isolation or synthesis, whatever it is, or making a sample for readying for scanning electron microscope. So all these are known things, but still we want to protect. So one product, many IP rights is also there. Like if you see, you have a lot of patents. The brand is Nokia. The technology is the product is 208. The startup tone is a copyright. The music, the software, the user manual. So a lot of things goes into one single product. Just like the nano car has around 53 patents to it, but unfortunately it failed because people started treating it as an auto. Its own USP was its own failure at times, and also the engine issues which happened of some fire and all that. So not safety, but when it picked up, it was a huge sale. But whether Nano has got its return on investments or whether those the patents filed were worth, because I'm not sure if such a car or a product will come out again. If not in petrol, at least electric will definitely come in the future. But those patents might be looked at again for improvising those systems in that car, whether it is the rear view mirror or things like that. So I was very very surprised and very perplexed, and I was very enthused to see when I was in Japan way back in 2014. We were there for a 2 weeks program. So there are two instances which I will tell you from that. Is that I had spoken to two IIT engineers from Delhi who were with the same hostel or the dormitory where we were sharing, and they were learning from evening 6 to 8 Japanese language. Okay, and I was telling them, why are you learning Japanese language? So what is your main purpose of learning Japanese language? So he was told that we were given a campus interviews. We got selected from IIT Delhi, and then we got selected in Toyota headquarters here in Japan. And as when we are joining the R&D, before joining, 6 months of language is to be learned Japanese language, because whatever is the research will be done in Japanese. And see the amount of, I was like shocked, like, oh, and IIT guy is doing better, not why he has chosen this field, coming into an unknown terrain and working with Toyota, and then that's the route we chose, and we are okay with it because it's our thing. So they had to learn that. And then there is this Yamaguchi University professor who had come to teach us, and then this guy got a job in Hyundai, and after clearing all his papers, he failed in IPR. There was a paper on IPR, intellectual property rights. There were some 8 subjects in his 4 SEMs, which is 4, like 2, 6, every 6 months, one subject we passed. IPR was one subject, IP and tech transfer. He failed in that, and he had a job offer, and he couldn't take up that job offer because Yamaguchi didn't give him a certificate of release or thing because he failed in IPR. So he had to clear the exam, intellectual property rights exam, which is there in his electives or compulsory subject in his engineering in Japan. And then he got the job after 6 months. So just imagine the trauma or what exactly people are going through. Like, it was such a important thing they have given. Then I asked him, what is the why is this is happening? Why are you so eager to make them when they are he knows the technology, he knows everything? No, it is the respect which will take him further. Because I was also told the one more thing, in countries like Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Europe, why you get world-class cars, whereas in India we don't. It is not about we don't have the brains, we don't have the knowledge. We have enough of brains, enough of knowledge, enough of infrastructure. But what makes, I think, there an engineer who is working on a reverse camera system for cars, he's working in the same product line for last 25 years to produce 15 or 16 patents and world-class products coming in on rear vision cameras for automobiles. There are people who are working on steering technology, this power steering. As an engineer, when I start as a fresher, I work in that company. Until I leave that company, I'm only working on that technology. 25 years of his life he has spent. I have seen that guy who came from Honda, and he was telling us this. And he told this categorically, like countries like us, like India, or I'm sorry to say this, he was telling that, engineers want to, after 2-3 years, oh, I've learned enough, I want to go to, do something else. I want to see I've done enough of shop floor or research. I want to go to see the electronic or the IoT technology. I want to fascinate what is happening. I want to shift. So that's the reason people go, people learn something, go for a software coding, become a coder. So that is also an issue for all of us. So you as faculties, teachers, professors should imbibe this mindset that I know it's boring, I know it's mundane, I know it's thing, but that's what you are good at. And you should deliver at that. You see how products will come out from your area. Start working on that area for your life. I know it's easier said than done. People leave. Then just imagine your entertainers, people in the movie line. Amitabh Bachchan, I know it's you're getting paid in crores, so it's easy to say. He might say that I'm not getting paid. Why will I work? If I go to another company, I have another line because I become a legal head today, and tomorrow if I go for a policy work in Amazon, I might get 4x or 5x of payment. Why will I want to continue? So that's how. So these are things which you have to ponder. I thought, this will be very much essential, which I think I might deviate from the topic. I'm sorry for it because I didn't want to talk about all these things which is already there in the books. But these knowledge on which I have learned, it's really essential that I translate, which will actually trigger all of us to do more. And then if you see what are the rights of IP holders, it's similar to your home. You use your home, you license your home, you sell your home, you mortgage, abandon. The same thing happens. You can gift a patent to anybody. You can sell patents. Patents were one of the first types of intellectual property which were recognized in today's modern legal system. And today's patent inventions pervade across every aspects of life. So whether it is a small manufacturing company or a product line or a new development product or a next gen technology, everywhere you will have patents to be
Yes, sir.
So now if you look at inventions which are as simple as this, which you have the patented technology of grinding, bidirectional grinding. The same technology has been used on a plow also, which is a rotary plow, which will actually do by an agricultural farmer, which has done. The same Mixie technology has been used for plowing, where the rotary plow is also doing the same function in the soil, and it is used to cultivate your crops. So the same technology was granted as a patent used in agricultural implements. And 90% of the patents are improvements of existing patented inventions only. And if you see, just this is a 1926 door lock and then the 1976 door lock, 50 years. What is the difference? I think the spring size has increased. There is a rubber, cheese shape rubber thing which is there. Find 3 improvements in this. So the cheese shape plastic smells like cheese. The spring is longer and hook at the end of the arm. So these are minor things which got patents. And then if you see the Indian patent regime, I think way back in 1890, I think we had the first patent, the Panka pulling machine, which was there by Alfred Depening. And now Alfred Depening chose to become a very good law firm. And they found value in protecting inventions rather than getting inventions churned out. And then this was the first patent in 1790, granted to Samuel Hopkins for a method of producing potash. So the objects of patent law is to encourage scientific research, grant exclusive privilege, and pass the invention into the public domain. And if you see a feature of a patent, it's only for one single invention, one single patent. A patent is given for a product and a product and a process, or a product by process. And it is the claims of the patent which is very important. So when you're reading a patent document, it might run into from 20 pages to even 30, 60, 100 pages. So it's not possible for you to read all the patent documents. So what we generally suggest is to read title, claim, abstract, TCA. Just remember this. Always have the claims, title and abstract to understand and summarize the gist of the patent. And patentability criteria is very essential because people come to us saying that I have a new product in India and I want to patent it. Then when we ask, yes, they say it is already there in the US, in the UK, or in Korea or China, Japan. So it doesn't work like that. It has to be novel across the globe. So when you do a patent search, it has to be a novelty search, prior art search against the entire database and against the entire jurisdiction. And if you're launching a product, FTO, that has to be a country specific because it's only in that particular place. So you don't need to do a total patent search because you can practice that invention if the patent is not there in that country. But you cannot get a patent if the patent is there in another country, but you can practice that invention provided that patent is not filed here. So you're free to use, make, sell, or do whatever it is. But you will not get a patent for it because the other person has got a patent in other jurisdiction. So this is how a patent document looks, a publication document, multi-utility biomass apparatus, which, it's from an Ongol guy, and then prior art cited by IPO is like that when you get the things. The patent office cites these documents which are equal to those things which are cited as close to your invention. And then inventive step is very important. So please understand that invention, 95% of your patents are novel. They have industrial utility, but inventive step is very much the key. So what is inventive step? It's a person who is skilled in the art. If it is non-obvious for that person, then it is an inventive step. So I am actually having a cycle and I remove the front wheel of the cycle and put a lawn mower in that cycle. And then I do my lawn moving, cutting the grass. Then is it patentable? So if I ask, some people will say, yes, it is novel. It has an industrial utility, but is it inventive? Just mere realigning or refitting of known devices in a particular product, and mere arrangement and rearrangement of known devices is not inventive. But if the cycle mechanic is not able to fix it, or who is a person who is skilled in the art is not able to do it, because might be the lawn mower is connected to the mobile app which gives you the terrain of the grass cutting, the moisture on the grass, the pH, the temperature on the atmosphere, the calories burnt. Then it is having some kind of indication sensors when you're people who are blind can also move the lawn mower. Then that is a inventive step which will get a patent for you. Just mere adding a lawn mower which is there and removing the first cycle, the wheel of the cycle will not merely give you a patent. So patent should be fully described, whatever it is, and then this is what is the timelines. When you file an application, it's published within 18 months. Request for examination, fast track can be done. So today's thing is that from our experience, we are getting a patent granted in 3 to 4 years. Okay, and earlier days it used to take 10 years, 10 to 11 years, 12 years, 13 years. Just imagine 20 years of life and 12 years gone for prosecution. So today's thing, 3 to 4 years in a very good smooth sailing case, provided you file your applications properly. So, and then do all that. So, you first have to file your patent in a patent office. Today, it's all online. So these are the types of patent applications: provisional, complete, divisional, patent of addition, and PCT. So provisional is just to block your idea. And these are some of the forms. I don't want to actually go into details, but I'll share my presentation so that it's easy for you to look into. So where published, the Patent Office Journal in India, we have a pre-grant opposition and a post-grant opposition, section 25(1) and 2, where your patent is published immediately, and people within anybody party can oppose it within 6 months from the time of grant. And after the grant also, a patent can be opposed for a period of 1 year, and it can be revoked as section 64 any time for till the life of patent. So you're sitting on a gold mine and you're sitting on a dynamite. So that's why I always tell, remember this: if you have a good patent portfolio, you are on a gold mine, but also you are equally on a dynamite, because anybody from anywhere, patent trolls, or anybody from any part of the world can sue you anytime, saying that you copied, this is already there in the prior art, and there starts your expenditure. So you have to be very, very doubly sure to use it in a nice way. So you don't want the dynamite to blast, but whereas the gold mine to extract and give you that revenue. So this is how an Indian Patent Office system looks like after your patent is granted. See, 231238, 6-digit number, and it is given the European Union, and then these are all how it is looked at. So industrial design, please remember, doesn't protect any functionality. It is only to do with the outer shape, configuration, and size, or whatever is the mere looks. So it is an aesthetics which helps the buyer, or the beauty lies in the beholder of the eyes. So something which triggers your mindset to buy something, a design, is important. It can be a toothbrush, it can be a golf ball pattern, it can be a textile fabric, it can be 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, anything, everything. Basically, fashion and textile products, you will not see much designs in golds until and unless there is a breakthrough design, because every alternate day you have so many designs. So it's not worth to protect all those designs unless and until you want to make it as a catalog and then put it as a copyright and give a flavor to it. That's a different strategy altogether. Household appliances, furnitures, everything and anything, cars, watches. So all these are design protected. The design is one of the fastest, most economical, and most easiest form of IP to be filed and granted till date in the patent office. Copyright will take time, 1 year. Trademark takes 1 to 2 years, or patent takes 4 years. Designs take 6 to 8 months. You get a design granted. It's very cheap and very economical. Doesn't need much of technical details. It's one single claim and a disclaimer, just protecting the novelty and the shape. And then this is some of the cases: Whirlpool versus Videocon, where you look at, both the machines look same, and then the court held that yes, the defendant were copying and imitating the plaintiff's model, and Videocon infringed Whirlpool's design. So everybody, then the Crocs. This is very famous. Why? See, I bought a Croc, but the same guy buys a Croc outside. Why? Because Croc is not protected by any design, because they had flashed their designs much ahead before going into the market. So today Crocs have lost its value, but still people buy Crocs because the quality is there, and the defendant product is anyway the same like Crocs. So if you go to a shop which is not listed or not branded, you find still Crocs. They're available, and Crocs can't do anything much, because already they had destroyed the novelty by publishing their designs much ahead than filing. So that itself was the base of the case, and they lost it, and the design was revoked, so that they didn't have any rights. And then this is like T-shirt, just an understanding: a cloth manufacturer wants to launch a T-shirt, and he wants to make it, can the T-shirt be protected by industrial designs? Yes or no? I would say no, because T-shirts are already round neck, V shape, or whatever Chinese collars. So if you have a new collar of a T-shirt, or a new stripes or a text, then it is protected. Otherwise, I don't see a mundane being protected. So key takeaways: all IPRs are jurisdictional, they are time bound, and you can file only one product, one design, and one product, one patent. Everything is design is protected for 10 years, and then the 5 copyright in the design, so it can be renewed for 5 years, so it's 15 years. And then examples of valuable IP today are all these things. Here I end my presentation, and I hope the talk was informative. I hope it was useful. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Now, I request Mr. A. Srinivas Rao, IPR attorney at Hyderabad, to please propose vote of thanks on behalf of the DPIIT IPR chair.
Thank you, Subhajit sir, for being here and addressing the participants. Good evening, sir. Good evening, IPR chair professor, the organizing team, and all the participants. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and thank you, sir, for your nice, energetic lecture. We can see all your energy, what you have been, gathering all the way through marathons and being a very good sports person in your personal life. I'm the personal witness for that. Thank you for showing all your energy to this session, and I'm very sure that the viewers and the participants of this particular lecture are also got a very good boost up from your lecture related to the patents and covering all the subjects, whatever you have covered in the IP, in the major IP arena. And I'm sure that participants can also relate the famous TV shows which are going these days, like the Kaun Banega Crorepati. In that session, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan always gives an attribution to the images and the pictures, whatever it is being reflected on the screen. At the same time, like Shark Tank, so the business spectrum which you have been talking about. So in the Shark Tank, all the sharks who have been talking about their intellectual property rights. So they have been talking about the reservation of trademarks, reservation of the business idea. So all these things we can see, and we can, you have rightly attributed everything in this session, sir. Thank you for that. And I would also like to thank every participants, all the participants, viewers of on YouTube, for being continuously supporting us. We are happy that we are meeting up our objective day in, day out. So before leaving this meet, I would request all the participants to please ensure again to subscribe to our channel if you have not done yet. And this will help you in getting the regular updates and viewing our recorded videos. On behalf of DPIIT Chair, I thank everyone. So we will meet again next week with another interesting topic. Keep supporting us, keep encouraging us. Until then, on behalf of DPIIT Chair, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Srinivas ji. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks.